Well, listen, thanks for taking the time to interview with me. I am a writer for Rock All Photography Music Magazine. And we're really excited about you guys' new music that's coming out, and just the whole kind of creation of the new excitement over the band. So tell me a little bit about the birth of A Light Divided. How did you guys all come together and create this group?
We started, God, it's been such a long time ago at this point. And it started with me, my drummer, and another guitar player who is no longer in the band. And the three of us just really bonded over the idea of making music and putting on the kind of show that we all wanted to see. Like bands that would mix different genres to create something unique. That was really inspiring to us because we never felt like being in a band meant you had to make this style of music or that style of music. It's supposed to be fun, so why not try on a whole bunch of different hats and see what works?
Right. I love that. How did you guys, did you always know you wanted to be a rock star?
As soon as I figured out that playing music was a career when I was very young, I have been obsessed with the idea ever since.
Yeah.
To a fault.
How young was that?
Probably like kindergarten.
Oh, that's great.
So like 5 or 6. Like I remember just watching the Grammys and all of those like music award shows and being like, oh my God, this is like the greatest thing ever. You get to play music and be fabulous. Like I'm there for it.
So how did the rest of the band come together then? So you were with your drummer, you've been with him the longest, and then how did you meet the other guys?
I met the other guys just pretty much by playing music and constantly being in the scene. Every time we lost a member, we always filled the role with somebody that was a longtime fan of the band.
Gotcha.
Because that was more important to me than like the musicality and stuff like that. I wanted somebody to be a part of the band that felt as strongly and as passionate about what we do as we do. So we've definitely gotten lucky in that department.
That's awesome. So you feel like you've got a good vibe going with this group?
Absolutely. I love these guys to death. They're my best friends. And even the members that aren't necessarily a part of the band anymore are still good friends of mine. It's never been like an angry parting sort of situation. That's
good, because in this business, there's all kinds of networking and bridges that you don't want to burn. So I think that's great that they've stayed fans and, didn't part on a bad term. So, So when you were in kindergarten and you wanted to be a rock star, was your family supportive of that?
Well, I think at first they just thought it was, crazy kid talk.
Right.
But it's been really awesome to see them sort of kind of accept it. And my mom has always been like, do what you want to do, be a free spirit, and just do what makes you happy. My dad was more, he supported what I did, but was like, okay, well, you need to make sure you have a backup plan in case this doesn't work out. Typical parent stuff.
Absolutely.
But they're definitely supportive of what I do, and they're super proud and share our music with all of their friends and coworkers and stuff like that. It's like, Mom, stop!
I think that's great. I think that's wonderful. I work at a college, so for my full-time job, I work at a college as a university professor, and so, of course, exactly what you're saying. Moms are usually like, oh, go with your dreams, honey, and dads are like, you got to make money. You got to find a real job.
Yes, exactly that. But I know that other people have it a lot worse than I did as far as like being supportive. So I'm super lucky with the parents I have and the way they support what I do.
That's great.
Definitely feel like a bit of pressure taken off.
So just a side question here. Have you always lived in North Carolina?
No, I'm originally from New Jersey.
Okay, I was going to say, your accent does not sound North Carolina-ish.
I get that a lot. I've lived here for so long now, sometimes like my life in Jersey feels like not even my life.
Yeah, that's funny. So tell me about the creative process for Choose Your Own Adventure. So how did you, write it? Did you do most of the writing? I read I think maybe on your press release or something, that all 5 members put their own experiences into it. Like, what did that process look like to create this album?
Yeah, so Choose Your Own Adventure itself is about being unafraid to go after the things that you want in life. Similar to the 80s book series, how you come across various decisions and you have to make that there's all these different outcomes.
Yep.
So you have to pick the one that you think is best for you. And what is life is not like the craziest adventure of all, I feel. So that's pretty much where the inspo for the name and the concept came from. As far as the writing process, this was the first time where all five of us kind of had our input. It was usually just me and a guitar player writing the music and the lyrics, and that was it. And then we take it to a producer and they spice it up a little bit. But this was like the most highly collaborative writing process that I've ever been a part of. And I think that it really shines because of that, to hear so many different influences and little nods to various members' favorite bands and musicians. It was really cool.
Who are some of your favorite bands and musicians?
I'm a huge pop fan. I can't even lie. I love my Christina Aguilera and my Demi Lovato.
Who doesn't?
But I also like bands like Atreyu or A Day to Remember or Silverstein and some of those like harder metalcore, pop punk type of influences as well.
That's great. And that's important, I think. I mean, Christina, anybody, even if you're a metal fan, you can't deny the talent that's there, for sure.
Yeah, like, I was a huge Christina fan for so long because when she sings, she roars, and I love that.
Yeah. And your producer for this album, producers, I guess, have worked with some really great, some of my favorite bands, like Motionless in White, Letters from the Fire. How did you connect with them?
Kyle, we've actually been working with for years and years and years. He's basically done all of our albums that are out right now.
Gotcha.
So it's actually been really great to kind of start with him and watch him grow as a producer and start working with bands that are, bigger and better and barely have to work with, little peasants like me. And,
I don't know about that.
He's just so talented and so full of knowledge, and he had Joshua Landry working in his studio as well as a vocal producer, and that was the first time that I had ever gotten to work with somebody who solely focuses on vocals, and that was a great learning experience for me to kind of see how other people might hear what I do. And he, we were bouncing ideas off each other, and it was just really great. I can't say enough highly recommended things about Kyle and Josh.
That's great. Well, it's clear, it's a really, nicely produced sounding album.
Oh, absolutely. They're great. Like, as soon as I got done recording the record, 2 or 3 days later, I went and got the album title tattooed on my hand because the entire experience was just so meaningful to me, and I just wanted to have a little piece of it on me forever. But I'm a super sappy type of person. So.
I love that, and it's a great title. I absolutely love that title. I think it's
Thank you.
It's just so. It's just really, really perfect. And so when you talk about that and choosing your adventures, and when your new single, I think it's your latest single, is called Fear of Heights, yes?
Yes.
And so is that, just metaphorically, are you really afraid of heights? Is that just kind of a matter of choosing that adventure and not being afraid to go for it?
It's a little bit of everything. Fear of heights specifically started out as I'm a really guarded type of person. I don't let people in very easily. And it's about being unafraid to take those walls down, open up to the people in your life that you love, and be vulnerable with them. Because if someone can't ever really get to know you, then there's always that barrier there. And that's what Fear of Heights is about. It's about making the decision to let that barrier down and let people in.
Yeah, that's great. Then this is a tough business to be vulnerable. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You're going to have people say things that are probably not easy to hear sometimes. And so that can be a really tough business.
Oh, absolutely. I touch on that a lot. The way, because we live in such a social media-based world right now, that, there's so much positivity, but being the person that I am, it's always that one negative comment that will just rattle around in my brain and almost make me believe all the worst things that I already think about myself.
Yep.
So you have to kind of stay positive, and despite all the bullshit in the world, believe that there are good people out there and that the people on your team are truly there for you.
Yeah, I love that. Is there a song on the album that is most, one of your favorites or most meaningful to you? Can you pick one? Is it like picking a favorite child?
Yeah, it pretty much is. I guess if I had to choose, there would be two. There's one that's called Another Bar Fight in Brooklyn that's sort of about when you reach that crossroads where you're second guessing the path that you're on, for me personally, playing music, like whether or not that this is something I really want to do anymore, because sometimes I feel like I would be a happier person if I didn't always have to hear like negative this and negative that, and feeling like you're always up for criticism.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also about making the choice to keep pushing forward despite those thoughts, and just having faith in yourself. And I think it's always a great message to keep having faith in yourself, even if nobody else does.
Yeah, for sure.
And then there's another one that's called Armor and War Paint, and it's the last song on the record. And it also kind of ties into what we were just talking about, where, like, because I struggle with a lot of mental health issues, and on my worst days, I absolutely hate everything I see when I look in the mirror. So Armor and War Paint is about having those times and feeling like you are just completely unlovable, and having somebody there that's going to fight through those times with you. And hoping to love you anyway.
I just love that. I love hearing the stories behind the songs. It just makes it so much more, I don't know, more alive when you listen to the music then.
Because, I mean, like, when you're writing the songs, you know what you're talking about, you know what everything is, but not everybody gets that right away. So that's actually why we've been doing this track-by-track series right now on YouTube, where we go through every single one of the songs and kind of give a brief summary about how the song came to be, what they're about lyrically, little fun facts and gems, like, just stuff like that, because I think that it would reach people more and get that message that we really want to put out there on a larger scale, be more accessible.
I love that. That's great. So what about live music? Any tours planned coming up? I know you had some dates on the website, but it looked like a lot of southern, like staying in the warm states, it looked like.
Yes. So for winter, I'll actually just announce our Chapter 1 tour today. I'm so excited about it. It starts October 5th in Greensboro, which is the day the album comes out, so a big hometown CD release party. And then we're basically going to take the entire Southeast by storm for the month of October. We're hitting a little bit of Virginia, South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, states like that, because, we have to make sure we don't get caught in a snowstorm.
I know.
October's a little crazy, but you never know.
I noticed there were no Ohio dates on there.
But we do have some in store, hopefully 2019, so keep an eye out for that.
Good. So what would you say your biggest accomplishment as a band has been so far? What are you most proud of?
There's a whole bunch of things that I'm proud of. A couple of them. One is being that we are, just by having like actual real jobs and whatnot, that we still put the band above everything, and we've been able to go out on little 10-day runs and do tours, and just we've done some bigger tours too. Like this one coming up is a month long, and we're all kind of terrified that we might come home and have no income when we get back. But it's worth it to take that risk, because if you never take it, then who knows?
Absolutely.
But one of the other things that I'm most proud of was actually recently when we released Fear of Heights, and it premiered through Alternative Press, who was a magazine that I was obsessed with when I was like 16 years old, and used to rip pictures out of it, hang them up on my wall, and dream about when I would be in that magazine. So for them to premiere my first single from this album, had me in tears. I'm not even gonna joke. I bawled like a baby.
How does that feel? Like, can you even describe that feeling to me, that now all these musicians that you've looked up, you're gonna be one of them. Like, you're gonna be maybe sharing the stage with them, maybe going on tour with them, on the same charts as some of them. Like, how do you wrap your head around that?
It honestly doesn't even feel real at all, but it also has this sense, leaves you with this feeling of everything that you've gone through and everything that you've worked your ass for the better part of a decade is finally paying off, and that you're where you're supposed to be. All that perseverance. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it.
Me too. I'm so excited for you. I'm a huge fan of in particular, female-fronted bands. I think in this, I think in the music industry and a lot of different industries, it's hard to kind of make that mark and stand apart from.
Absolutely.
And so when people have the guts to do that, and it is scary. It's scary to make yourself vulnerable. It's scary to possibly lose your steady income. That's really scary. And I really admire people who do that over something they love so much.
Yeah, it's definitely not the easiest path, but it's super rewarding. Like every little tiny thing, when you have like a 13-year-old girl come up to you and tell you that you're their favorite rock star and ask you questions and sing along to your songs, or somebody messages you telling you that your music has helped them from stop harming themselves, stuff like that. Like those things, like it doesn't matter if I'm never like a huge artist making mad money doing this, and I never expect to, but it's those kind of moments that make me feel like I'm here for a reason. I'm touching people, I'm helping people, and I love that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Are there any things that you would, like kind of are on your bucket list to do?
I would love to be on a huge festival show. like one of those that's in front of like hundreds of thousands of people with huge bands that I've been looking up to my entire life, and being on that same playing field as them. Like that would be pretty cool, I think.
Oh yeah, I go to all those.
I would really love to tour overseas.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Yep. I go to all those festivals like Rock on the Range, which is no longer Rock on the Range now, but and like Carolina Rebellion I've been to, and Chicago Open Air and Rock Fest. I do Shiprocked. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a huge it's like Rock on the Range on a cruise ship.
I just did an interview where they were like asking what festivals I wanted to be a part of, and then Shiprock was like one of my first ones. I think that would be so badass. You need to do it. You really do. It's so much fun, and you connect with fans in a way that is absolutely way different than anything else you'll ever do. And you become like, family. Some of the smaller bands that have been on there because of Shiprock, they've really helped them because we're just always so devoted to our Shiprocked family. So if you ever get a chance to do that, do that for sure. Well, somebody call me. I'll put in a plug for you. Thank you. Well, listen, I really appreciate you taking the time. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm sure you're really busy. I love this. I am so excited for you. Just one last thing, like, what do you want the world to know about A Light Divided? One thing you want them to know. One thing that I'd want them to know about us. It's hard to narrow it down to just one. I feel like I'm not prepared. But I guess just the overall message of what Choose Your Own Adventure is. Yeah. It's just, we have a heart, we have the balls to go after the things that we want. And despite what anybody says about us, it's going to take a lot more than a shitty attitude to stop us. Yeah, good. That's good. That's good to hear. I love that. I love it. If you make it to Ohio, you should call me, and I will come out and I'll watch you guys and bring all my friends, and we'll do a review. And I wish you the best on your tour and best with this this album that's coming out. And I'll be watching for you guys. Well, thank you so much, and I will definitely have to hit you up so we can chat in person. That sounds great. I'd love that. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. This is always one of the more exciting parts of like gearing up for an album release, is being able to share it with people and not feel like I'm annoying all of my friends with the same thing. It's fun for me too. I love to get to know the bands a little bit better and hear a little bit about their stories. It just makes me connect to the music better, and I hope it will to the other people that hear the interview too. So we'll let you know. We'll send you a link when it gets posted, and I hope to talk to you soon. Sounds great. Thank you so much. All right. Have a great day. You too. Thank you. Bye. Bye.